Good morning, afternoon or evening, ladies and gentlemen, Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, for what is going to be nothing short of another jam-packed daily market update. If you are new around here and finding yourself on my channel for the first time today, don't forget to check out that subscribe button because we drop an update just like this one every single day around 1 p.m. UK time to help you guys stay up to date with the latest and greatest things happening within the crypto space, but also the broader markets. We actually got some good data as it relates to inflation yesterday and on Monday. Today, we do have CPI coming out. And of course, the markets to watch on the back end of this are the yield markets and thus the dollar. And there's been this kind of uncertainty in regards to monetary policy that's been weighing on the space. But due to the kind of trend that the market is in, it's really bucking this. And actually, we will talk about that short-term price action that people were worried about. We said, what are you going to do? Are you going to go short a bull market? Are you going to get out a bull market? What happens if you're wrong? You're in a lot of trouble. And we've steered people away, and we continue to do so from trying to trade. I believe 99.9% of people when it comes to crypto will not make money trying to trade it. If I've spent and sought out some of the best traders I know and I've watched them struggle to do so, the general kind of population really stand no chance. But that's just my own take on things. Of course, you guys can do whatever it is you want. We've got a lot to get through. This one truly is a jam-packed one. We're going to be looking at what BlackRock have to say in regards to Bitcoin adoption and how it's in a very early stage from an institutional point of view. And actually, that's going to be a large catalyst for this bull market. Then we've got Gary Gensler interview on CNBC. And we're going to play this clip because what Gary says is interesting. It's kind of his last speech, if you will, or his last grasp for relevancy, having largely been defeated. And then we've got an interesting article from Forbes. Forbes is a big publishing house, and they released an article on their digital asset sector saying, leaked reveals imminent Trump game-changing 100 trillion Bitcoin price prediction. A little bit annoyed with Forbes about putting this article out. It's complete. Well, we'll read the article and we'll let you guys decide. Then, of course, we know who is going to be heading the sort of digital asset subcommittee. It's going to be Tom Emmer, who's very bullish on the crypto space. He spoke about many cryptos with favorability. He's also really bashed the SEC in regards to their approach towards the crypto industry. And then we'll finish things off on price action. So this is a jam-packed one, guys. Let us kick things off with what BlackRock have to say about Bitcoin and what stage it's in.
Interesting because at the end of last year, you saw Bitcoin skyrocket above $100,000 per Bitcoin. You saw that interest really start to taper off at the beginning of this year. You've had an incredibly successful launch. You have had some outflows in the product in more recent weeks. What do you make of that as you enter year two?
Yeah, well, I think big picture, it was a pretty incredible first year for IBIT. Obviously, record setting on a lot of dimensions, including inflows and asset accumulation. And, you know, as we come into year two now, we're focused on a lot of the same stuff that we were in year one, which is really being a valuable resource and an education partner to many of our clients. As we've talked about in the past on this show, we're still quite early days in terms of the adoption of the wealth advisory and the institutional segment. And so we're spending a lot of time engaging with those types of clients.
Is that where the growth is? We just heard from Kavita Gupta at Delta Blockchain, who said institutional is the next catalyst in 2025. I mean, how much opportunity is there?
Well, certainly the third bucket, which we refer to as end investors direct, was gangbusters out of the gates, right? And these other two categories, wealth advisory and institutional, there are much greater hurdles in terms of their process and the research and diligence that they go through.
Of those two buckets, which is a bigger opportunity?
It's hard to pick one, but probably wealth advisory actually, because there's a lot of sort of momentum around firms that are working through their expedited approvals processes to allow advisors to actually put these ETPs in client portfolios. But institutional is very significant as well, and that's an education journey for many that's been playing out over the year. We're starting to see more of them emerge, particularly over the last quarter, I would say. You saw more institutions and a little bit more wealth advisory in the overall mix of inflows.
We are early, ladies and gentlemen, and what he's saying there is absolutely right. Institutions aren't like retail. They can't just go out and buy. They've actually got to go through a process, and that process is only really just coming to effect. It is going to be a major catalyst for this. And actually, they're talking about IBIT there, but just the other day, JP Morgan, we did a video relating it to XRP, actually released a report on XRP and Solana, and gave their opinion on what they're going to see in terms of inflows. The entire space is going to be ETF'd and kind of Wall Street-arized, and that's really an exciting prospect because we've got in before Wall Street. For once, this is one of the first times ever retail's been able to actually front-run Wall Street, and hopefully we've kept everybody on the right side there. Let's not mess around. Let's get straight into the second clip, which is Gary Gensler on CNBC. Boo! We all know we don't like Gary Gensler. I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic and we're going to get into it.
What you think is going to happen, or whether your thinking has evolved, it almost sounded like you wanted to separate Bitcoin from the rest of the industry. And I'm wondering whether you're actually warming to the idea of at least Bitcoin, and whether, again, people are tweeting you that I said you either stood in the way of an extraordinary industry or were utterly unable to prevent a massive bubble. What do you think the future holds? Do you have a feeling on which it is? Do you think Bitcoin has inherent value and is a store of value? Or do you feel that when we look back on it 10, 15, 20 years from now, it's going to be something from the 18th century with tulips?
Joe, it's hard to predict. I really do like you, because I know that you think, I'm going to out you, think negatively on many of these altcoins. You, Joe. But
right.
in terms of Bitcoin, we at the SEC have never said it's a security.
Well,
I have not.
What do you think? You taught at MIT. I think you know. You've got to have some kind of feeling. You've read the books, Bitcoin Standard.
Yeah. I think that Bitcoin is a highly speculative, volatile asset, but with 7 billion people around the globe, 7 billion people want to trade it, just like we do have gold for 10,000 years. We have Bitcoin. It might be something else in the future as well. Right. These other thousands of projects need to show their use case and show that they actually have fundamentals underlying them, or they won't persist, Joe.
Oh my God, you own Bitcoin.
That's where the public. That's why the public needs disclosure.
That's what it's.
I don't.
You love
I've
it.
never owned.
You love it. You don't like those other coins.
I've never owned any of these, and I've been consistent for 7 or 8 years on this.
Well, now you can, because you won't be a SEC chair anymore.
Absolutely brilliant. I love what he said at the end there. Goodbye, Gensler. The door is over there, and we can't wait to see the back end of him and actually the ushering in of a friendlier SEC that's ultimately going to promote the growth of this industry. He says some interesting things there, Gary, in regards to these other coins need to prove their use cases. Well, that's what we're interested in, finding those coins that have those use cases here on this channel. If you want to take your journey a step further, do consider becoming a patron. We're growing at a very rapid rate, and we're not going to keep it open forever, just because ultimately we need to manage the patrons that we have, and ultimately ensure their needs are attended to. Let's talk about a very interesting article on Forbes digital asset, and they must be really scraping the barrel here in regards to trying to attract attention. Leaks reveal imminent Trump game changer, $100 trillion Bitcoin price prediction. We get to this stage every cycle where it's just like, let's see who can throw out a bigger number. And Forbes are the winner right now. $100 trillion. Okay. Bitcoin and crypto prices have bounced back, with Bitcoin surging towards $100,000 after a sudden downturn sparked fears of a crypto crash. How many fears of a crypto crash have we tried to avoid you guys from getting suckered into in what is clearly a bull market? How do we know that? Well, technically, because we are technical analysts and we look at the charts. I don't give a damn what anybody else says. I give a damn what the charts say, and that's that. Ultimately, there's 7 billion people, 8 billion people on the planet. Everyone's got an opinion. Doesn't mean you should listen to them all. You know, you can't stop at every dog that barks. The Bitcoin price rocketed higher. Victory in November with Trump's, that's when it broke out, that bull flag. Trump's last month confirming he's planning to drop a Bitcoin price bombshell. Now, as the Federal Reserve braces for a looming crisis. What crisis? Trump, the self-styled crypto president, will reportedly issue several crypto-related executive orders on his first day in the White House. We covered this yesterday. People are always late on the news, just like, now people talking about JP Morgan and their prediction. We covered it all yesterday, guys, multiple times. Also the BlackRock story. The January the 20th, with one prediction to spark huge Bitcoin price boom, and then they spam you with a hell of a lot of advertisement. Trump's day one executive order may address issues including debanking and the repeal of controversial crypto accounting policy, so SARB 121. We looked at that yesterday. We looked at what Hester Pierce had to say, requiring banks holding Bitcoin and crypto to count them as liabilities on the bank's own balance sheet. When that's lifted, you will see the largest banks, BNY Mellon have already had it lifted, actually come out and buy crypto and hold this. Mark my words. The Trump team has made it very clear that this is a priority. An anonymous source told the Washington Post, we looked at the Washington Post article yesterday, the mysterious, unconfirmed so-called Operation Choke Point 2.0, unconfirmed, named for a similar 2013 US Department of Justice policy to debank legal industries deemed to be high risk for fraud and money laundering, has weighed on crypto companies through the Biden administration, with founders and executives claiming financial regulators have pressured banks to cut off all crypto companies from financial services. I am a victim of that here in the UK. Try and be a crypto company and get any kind of banking services. Good luck. They'll just turn you down, even the likes of Monzo and people like that. So the issue was recently catapulted into mainstream consciousness by venture capitalist Mark Andreessen, appearing on the Joe Rogan podcast. I didn't see that myself. Andreessen, who has backed many tech and crypto companies at the VC company known as A16Z, and his associates of Trump's so-called crypto czar David Sachs, is reportedly working with the Trump's incoming administration behind the scenes. Meanwhile, crypto companies led by MicroStrategy, Strategy's Michael Saylor, have been campaigning against the policy that requires companies to report it as a liability. As a result, March 2022 Securities and Exchange Commission staff accounting bulletin SARB 121. The repeal of SARB 121 is one of the three catalysts Saylor said would trigger a Bitcoin price rally to $5 million, giving Bitcoin a total market cap of 100 trillion. Okay, so they're not saying Bitcoin's going to 100 trillion, very misleading title, but the market cap is. Last year, Saylor, who has transformed his software company into a Bitcoin buying vehicle over the last 5 years, he's very smart for doing so, said during a X podcast that the repeal of SARB 121 will help take us to $5 million a coin as companies and financial institutions begin buying Bitcoin. The other two catalysts named Saylor have already happened: spot exchange traded funds and fair value counting. Julian Farah, the chief executive of Bitcoin rewards company Apollo, posted on X. Last year, the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock, led a Wall Street rush into the newly approved spot Bitcoin ETFs. We looked at that at the start, with IBIT Bitcoin Fund becoming one of the fastest growing. It is the fastest growing ETFs of all time. In November, the Financial Accounting Standards Board, FASB, officially adopted fair value accounting for Bitcoin, allowing companies to more accurately reflect Bitcoin's current market value in their financial statements. And that's the article. A little bit disappointed with that. Some other interesting news is, of course, Tom Emmer. I am honored to have been selected for vice chair of the subcommittee of digital assets, financial technology and artificial intelligence, with President Trump in the White House and Gary Gensler confirmed to the waste bin of Washington. Woo! We have an excellent opportunity to ensure that the future of digital assets is guided by Americans and American values. I look forward to working with Chair French Hill and Rep Brian Steele and the rest of my colleagues to foster an environment where digital assets innovation can thrive. Mark your calendar for the 20th, guys. We looked at the potential for this inverse head and shoulders. We said it's very unlikely to happen, just like the prior ones. And actually, often, if you got short and wrong, you're wrecked. Your shorts are out. What you need to focus on, guys, and what we try and get you guys to focus on here is the bigger trajectory of things. Not only is Bitcoin in a confirmed uptrend since when we got back into the market on the 5th of January, literally the perfect time. There's a lot of technical patterns giving us confidence to the direction Bitcoin is heading in. A lot of your totals sort of ran into resistance. They will break through it, just like Bitcoin has, in my opinion, just to show you these quickly, and ultimately lead us to the promised land. And we're very, very happy to have this channel be in the position that we're in with you guys, and ultimately, hopefully, change people's lives this year. That's it from me, guys. I'm going to love and leave you. A like and a comment is always appreciated. Check out the Patreon, and I'll see you all in the next one.